we are going to talk with you all about partnership support cycle and what that really looks like, because I don't know if any of you ever have tried to work out. How much easier is it with a partner? Yes, a buddy, a workout buddy. Anybody have workout buddies? Yes. So we're going to talk through this partnership support cycle today. So we're going to talk through these steps and what it means to analyze, set a goal, learn, then apply, and then the review and take action. And you know, I heard Amy saying at the very end of your barbell time together when we were working out really heavily over there, also with barbells, that this is all about continuous improvement, right? Everything that we're doing, we're going to learn about how did it go, what went really well, and then we're going to make some shifts as we keep going forward. And so that same concept of continuous improvement, we can bring that right in here into this partnership approach. And then at the end, we have two lovely ELSs who are going to come up and share their experiences. I'm very excited to hear from them. They will get to talk to you about this cycle as it pertains to the work that they're already doing. So my name is Angela Preston. I am a charter consultant with Leslie.
I'm Carrie Bruns. I am in the West. This is a really important cycle for us to go through, not only with literacy, but as you will see, you can also do this in your personal life too.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what she's talking about.
I have no idea.
All right, so the thing we're going to work through today is analyzing. What does it mean? What are we analyzing? Setting goals, learning, applying, and reviewing, take action. But when you're analyzing, you are looking at some type of data. Now, data might be in a spreadsheet. Anybody love a spreadsheet? Yes. Anybody love a data visual? Some sort of picture or graph. How about sticky notes? Anybody taken data on a sticky note before? Maybe during observations? Yes? Okay. So data can come in all different sizes, shapes, pieces of paper, all the things that we're going to look at. And sometimes you might not even know what you need when you start. But we have to start with something. So we're going to look at the data, kind of figure out what it is we need from there. So we are going to take this partnership approach, Carrie and I. We have decided to make some healthy lifestyle changes. Now, this is the 635th round of me trying to do this, which is, if you do the math, that's like once every other week for the last 8 years, about right. So every other week, I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to do it again, and then I'm going to do it again. So I said, hey, Carrie.
Hey, Angela.
Why don't we partner up and actually make some decisions around what type of healthy lifestyle goals that we want to do? And the first thing we needed to figure out is, where do we want to focus, right? Because if you think about a healthy lifestyle, there's all kinds of things that you could be using. So we took time to jot down things that were really important to us, and then think about the why. Why is that why important? Because without the why, without the reason behind it, you're more likely to stop doing what you've started because you don't have that buy-in. The why really helps leads us to that buy-in. So I was thinking self-care, which I don't know if anyone else does really well with the having your own time and having a few minutes. I'm not great at that. So that's one. Healthy eating, exercise, less coffee. That'll never happen. And being present, being able to really think about what's happening in the moment when I'm there. And so that was another one that I wanted to make sure. So when my daughter's talking to me, I'm actually listening to the story. So Carrie, what did you decide to think about your areas?
So sleep. Sleep is super important to me. If I don't get it, then it's horrible for everybody. Eating habits, that's super important, just making sure that I am doing that. Exercise, self-care, again, self-care, being a mom, a wife, 2 dogs, 4 teenagers in the house. And then screen time. It's hard when we actually live with a computer in front of our face all day long, but that's just something that I wanted to think about too. So why we decided to do this exercise partnership is that I have been really working hard on trying to improve myself. I've been talking to my doctor for years. She's been telling me, you know, I need to eat better, exercise, really start taking care of myself. Just thinking about the history, my mom had her first stent when she was 53, and I am 52. So that is really my big why, is that I want to protect my heart. That's my why.
That's a good why.
Thanks.
Keep that heart healthy. All right, so we have our partnership. We know we're going to work with each other. We have our areas that we're going to look at. So first we want to start by analyzing the data. And here is where Carrie is going to talk a little bit more about so we're going to go through this partnership style where we're partnering, but Carrie's going to walk through her plan because it would take way too long for us to go back and forth like this the whole time, and you don't really want to sit and listen. So we're going to do this model with Carrie talking through hers, and I'm going to kind of ask the questions as the partner supporting, and then Carrie, but in reality, we're both going to do this. We're both going to have our plan and our conversations back and forth about what are the things that I can do also and how we can do this together. So Carrie, I'm going to turn it over to you. When you think about the data, I know you just talked about your doctor and you were talking about your why. Maybe talk a little more to the group around what data were you using to help make this decision that exercise was the right choice for you versus some of the other ones, and how you kind of went through the steps for analyzing.
So I've been on this journey for a while with my doctor, and my cholesterol is in the red still. I have been doing everything that she's been asking me to do for years. I changed my eating. I've always been a vegetarian, well, since I was 18. And then I turned vegan 2 years ago, and I still have high cholesterol. And she was like, Carrie, it's genetics. What are you not doing in your life? And I said, exercise. And she was like, Carrie, we have to do this. Because I don't want to go on medication, but I also don't want to have a heart attack. So I think I want to exercise to see if that will help.
That is a good reason. So when you think about your current levels of exercise, so you mentioned walking your dog, what kind of data can you pull about your dog? How often are you walking? How quickly are you walking? How long? What does that look like in terms of, are you getting some exercise out of that dog walking?
I'm not. I have a Great Pyrenees who is lazy. We walk twice a week, max, and it's like I'm sitting still while I'm walking. So it's not working.
So the data are telling us it's not working yet. We're not where we want to be, so we need to start doing something a little bit different. So this is a step where we're going to look at, let's set some goals then. We know we've looked at the data, we've seen that walking a couple times a week with the dog really isn't getting the results we're looking for. It's still something, which is something is better than nothing, but we need to set a goal and then really kind of think about how we can achieve that goal so we can get Carrie where she wants to be with her health. So when you think about setting goals, you want to think about where are you right now? So where are you right now in terms of what you're wanting to change? So if it's your cholesterol level, if it's the amount of times you're working out, think about where you are now and then what would be feasible for you to be able to achieve as you're setting a goal around that. And then are there other things you need to take into account with this? So thinking about are you going to include walking your dog in your exercise plan? What are all the factors that are going to influence your goal setting?
To decrease my cholesterol by 10 percentage points, or 10 points. So that's going to be a long-term goal. So I was thinking I could probably do 3 times a week.
Okay.
Of really making sure that my heart rate is getting up there. So that's my short-term goal.
Yeah. That is a very specific goal. It's a good goal to know we're going to work out 3 times a week. And you had, we didn't put it up here for you all, but we have a specific BPM that she's reaching every time she works out. So that makes it more specific so we know whether or not she's achieved that specific goal and how frequently it's going to be happening. Okay, so now we get to the learn. When we learn, now we've set the goal, we know what we're going to focus on, but the next step is really to think about what do we need to achieve that goal. You might find yourself needing to learn some things. You might actually need to do a little reflection yourself, or go and read some articles, or meet with some people and interview them and kind of talk to others and find out more about what it is you're interested in learning about to help you. Same thing with Carrie. We're wanting to do this exercise track, so we need to do some learning to figure out what we know and what we need to know. So sometimes we ask our things, is there a gap in knowledge between where I am and what I need to be able to understand? Do I have everything I need to be able to make an informed decision? What else do I need? That type of thing. So, Carrie, what did you need to learn about before you could figure out your exercise plan?
I needed to know what was out there. And I was like, what in the heck is HIIT? They're exercising, and I learned that it's high intensity interval training. Sounds terrible. And then there's, the old-fashioned traditional one where you go to the gym and they have classes and, people there. And then there's the home and app option, which would be
wonderful.
Staying at home with my leg warmers.
But would you get off the couch? All right, so when we picked she picked the 3 areas that she wanted to learn more about, but I also don't know as much about the HIIT. And Carrie, what did you learn?
Well, I learned that it's awful. I learned that it's short bursts. It's like a boot camp style. That it's 6 seconds to 4 minute exercises with timed breaks. I liked the break option. And that there are monthly costs. My reaction was that my cardiovascular system and my muscular structure could not handle that right now at all, considering the fact running from the door here made me winded.
All right, how about the next one?
Traditional fitness, it had a lot of programs. A lot of assistance, which is cool. Again, monthly cost. My reaction to that one was that there were a variety of classes, so I can jump into one thing and then jump into another thing and maybe get on a treadmill and then get on a bike. So that was helpful. Mm-hmm. It also had, weights and machines, and so I kind of liked that. And I think that having someone help me while I was there would be kind of cool.
How about the video apps at home?
Oh, well, lots. There's a lot of videos and stuff, and it's free. That was awesome. I can pick whatever I wanted to do, and I can individualize it myself. So that was kind of cool. But my reactions, I'm lazy.
That could be an issue. Which one do you think she picked, everybody? Let's see if you're right. You're so smart. Look at all these smart ELSs. All right, so the next thing, now that we've learned and we've chosen the thing we want to do, now we come to apply. Apply is more than just, great, I'm doing it, let's go. The first step to think about is a plan. We need to have a plan. We need to know what we're going to do, and then we need to know how we're going to measure that it worked. If we're just saying, hey, we're going to go and do this exercise, but I have no way to know whether or not I'm achieving this goal, or how do I know I'm actually going enough, or is there any accountability in this? So thinking through all of the plans, then we're going to actually do it. So let's talk through the plan that you set up for your traditional workout.
Okay, so we talked a little bit already that I'm going to exercise 3 times a week. And I picked Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I'm going to do 20 minutes of weight training and 30 minutes on some piece of equipment. The data that we're going to collect, you and I, when we were doing the partnership, we decided a spreadsheet would be good because we're nerds.
Yes.
And we like to track our stuff.
Yes.
So we decided we were going to do a spreadsheet to collect that data. And our check-in schedule. We kind of have 2. We're going to do the last Friday of every month just to get a whole big picture of what's going on. But the accountability, because we're in this partnership and we both have a tendency to say we're gonna do exercise and then go right back upstairs and get into our pajamas. We decided that, checking in on Fridays.
Yeah.
With a text and just letting each other know, what we did that week would really kind of keep us motivated.
Yeah. Yes, the last Friday of the month would not be enough accountability for me. So I think we decided that weekly text, and we also decided that we would celebrate a little bit on that last Friday by going to our smoothie bar. So here is the spreadsheet that we created. Ta-da! Carrie, talk about the spreadsheet.
Ironically, my first degree is actually exercise science with an option of physical therapy. So, yeah, I know what I'm supposed to do. I wanted to make sure that I'm hitting all of my major muscle groups, making sure that we have that cardiovascular piece in there, and keeping track of my beats per minute so
Yes.
my heart can get healthy.
Yes. So, and in this partnership, my knowledge of exercise is that you're supposed to do it. So when it came down to who should create the spreadsheet and the things that we should do, I turned to my partner here because that's her strength. That's something she has the background knowledge in. That's something that she didn't really have to research things to figure it out. We looked at with thinking about what our different strengths are, how to kind of use that for both of us to benefit from, versus me thinking I should do something with my arms, probably pick up my legs, and I don't know why it's not working. Then, after you've come up with your plan, guess what time it is? It's time to exercise. Been about a month since we started our exercise program. 3 weeks, maybe?
As you can see in my chart, on Tuesdays and Saturdays, I'm rocking it. I'm going to the gym, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, my heart rate is where I need it to be, but Thursdays are awful.
But here's when we get to this point, this is the place where we're going to actually start asking ourselves some questions. So there's two big things that we want to think about. We want to tell if we're on track to meet our goal or if we're not on track. Pretty simple that first round. So if we look at where Carrie is she on track? No, right? So we're missing something. So we would say we need to kind of tweak some things. We want to think about our take action. So are we going to continue on as planned? Are we going to make some adjustments? Or are we at the part where we need to completely start over, whether we've met our goal or whether all of the days maybe were not happening, so we need to just come up with a whole new plan. So at this point, Carrie was saying, really thinking about maybe Thursday's not the best day. So instead of abandoning the whole thing, because she is making progress, we want to make an adjustment here. And what day were you thinking might be better than Thursday?
I'm thinking Friday.
So we have made it through the whole process. We've got to that last part where we're taking action and we're going to actually make an adjustment to that next piece. And that piece being how frequently she's going to work out on those specific days. And then we're going to celebrate when we meet next week on Friday. Take a minute right now and reflect to yourself, have you ever done anything like this before? Not just alone, but think specifically with a partner. Have you ever partnered with somebody to do something? It might not have anything to do with exercise. It might have something to do with work, or maybe some personal goal that you've set for yourself and you wanted to do it with a partner. Absolutely. So she's saying as a lead teacher, she was a mentor, and her mentee came together, did most of the steps, but kind of followed that continuous improvement cycle. And so, as you're thinking about how this applies to your life too, we just wanted to kind of step through with this idea of it's not always these structures that we put in place in education are really things that we do every day anyway. And we're always reevaluating, we're always looking at the data and deciding some shifts that we need to make to go to that next step so that we can achieve our goal. And I'm going to turn it over to Cindy, and Cindy is from Newton Conover. Yep. And she's going to talk with you all about actually using this partnership approach.
I'm Cindy Gilmore. I'm in Newton Conover City Schools, and that is a small school district in Catawba County Schools. So I have 3 elementary schools, and we are one of the 3 school districts in Catawba, which is in Hickory, which is a much bigger school district. Back in December when I started as an ELS, Kelly and I kind of became partners in this process and starting to work through this document and what it looks like in our districts. We have very different districts. We have very different expectations. I came into my district already doing some of this work, even though I had been predominantly EC, but I was very familiar with the schools and what was going on there, not as much as I thought I did at the time. Because of that, I've had a very strong relationship already with our chief academic officer, with the schools, with the principals, with the instructional coaches. So I was at a different place than Kelly was. So when I sit down with my chief academic officer once per month, and we use this document to go through what my work is going to be. And we started in December just looking at the overall BOY data. What did it look like in our schools? Where did we start, right? As we went through that, we have discovered every month we go through and look at different sets of data. Sometimes we look at in-class data, sometimes we look at scans, which I complete, a lot of walkthrough data, and that then determines the learning and my goal for the next month. So it varies just month by month what I'm looking for and where those goals are going towards the ultimate goal of really trying to come up with a very specific plan for what literacy looks like in our district. And including in that, in our ESL population, we are a very diverse population, to make sure that we are also being, very culturally cognizant of the materials that we are putting in and doing. So it has been a lot of learning and a lot of applying, and really as I go through those 5 steps, it really does change every month from the data to the other. So we change it by color. So if anybody goes to look at that document or we want to go back and work through that document, you're going to see different colors as we go month by month and change our goals and our plan.
So I'm Kelly Wilson. I'm in Watauga County, and we have 9 schools, including the virtual academy. I taught in Watauga County for 15 years, and then I was out of Watauga County for about 3 years when this job came open. And so I had a really good established relationship with teachers in the schools, and I knew 5 of the principals. And so when I came back in, I had to really reestablish myself as a leader because I had been a teacher and a reading specialist. Watauga County doesn't have they have one instructional coach that is more based on tech and how to support teachers through technology than in math or in literacy. So the way that we're structured is so different, and so that's really affected the way that I have created my plan as well. There have been 5 major directors who have retired since I started. So that's fun. So that's been a learning curve for me. And one of the things that my role really helped to show, and we've talked about this throughout different places, are some of the holes between what's going on at the state level with the district level and what's actually going on in the school. And so at the beginning of mine, I kind of tiered my schools so they could understand the difference of these teachers are more on a tier 1 because they just need a little bit of support, but my tier 3 schools don't understand the MTSS process, don't understand really how LETRS is working and how it's going to look in their classroom. And so that kind of helped to direct where that is because I know I need to limit my schools. So I'm working on that, on where that needs to be looking at. And then also because I'm reestablishing myself as a leader in that district, being able to I write my plan and I let them know before we're going to meet that I have it finished the day before so that they can look at it, because it's more of me writing the plan and then us talking through it and taking notes within it. And so it's a collaboration piece, but I have to do the work at the front end for us to be able to guide the conversation where it's going. So that's been the biggest difference for Cindy and I, because I do have to do a lot of it at the beginning of it before I can go in there to help guide where that conversation is going. And just like Cindy said, We use a lot of different information. Since I was establishing a relationship with some new principals and a couple of new teachers, that was my goal for like the first couple meetings, was to be able to establish better relationships with teachers and principals. And then it moved into the MOI data, and then my goal was working with principals to understand the data. So it really does change, and ours don't look the same, but I love the color coordinating because it really helps to see where the conversation is going. And I used those lead questions that they were talking about every single time, because then you know where you're going, and if you're answering those questions, then you know which direction you're supposed to be moving throughout it.
So I think one of the things that was really important that she just mentioned was consistency of using the questions. Because like sometimes we're like, oh, I don't need to use that question this time, or oh, I don't need to do that piece this time. And what it does is it keeps their conversation consistent. So you're not right here going on a path talking about this one time and then, oh, wait a minute, now this time this is going on. Because we always know there's a million fires to put out in a district and with this work. And so we want to make sure that we keep our conversation consistent, and we want to keep it channeled in the direction in which we're going. And that helps us keep from trying to do too many things at one time. One of the things I think Amy talks a lot about is purposeful abandonment. Right? And so when you keep your questioning consistent, you keep your questioning focused on what it is that you're working on. But before they sit down, I wanted Kelly to share one thing really quickly. And I know this doesn't happen across the board, but they came from 2 different places, which I appreciate you all sharing. And Kelly really had to get to know her district again because she hadn't been there for a while. So if you don't mind sharing what you did at the beginning, where you kind of traveled and did your thing, and then we'll open it up for questions.
So I have 2 kids that go to Watauga County, and so I knew that school very well. And so when I first met I have dual contacts because of the way that things are going in Watauga County, and everyone keeps retiring on me. And so when I first met with them, I had a meeting with both of my dual contacts to be able to see kind of where things were compared to when I left 3 years ago. And then I went to every single school. I followed what the district did and how the district told me I was going to go out. And so I went first with one person, and then I went back out so that I could have conversations with principals where some of them knew me and some of them did not, but I was able to establish a different relationship because they see you differently than a county office employee. And so that was really helpful to be able to talk to the districts, the district people first, then going to the principals. And then when I would go back, that's when I would share the tiers of like what I see, because they had a different idea than what I was actually seeing in the schools. And so that really helped me to be able to say like specifically, like they really understand letters. We do Letterland. They understand Letterland. They don't know how to like apply it. And I made more broad, not specific things, so that they wouldn't then think I need to go and talk to this one teacher. So that way I was supporting the school and not, I don't want to say targeting, but putting a one teacher on the spotlight. I didn't want to do that because I want them to trust me as I develop that relationship.
Wonderful. Thank you.